You talked about Kirk D. Cousins, and he sort of shrinks when the spotlight gets bright or brightest. How do you fix that?
That's exactly my point, is that if Kirk isn't going to play better in big games, then nothing else really matters. And they might be blowing up the entire operation here. And listen, I was pro Kirk Cousins. I was in favor of them signing him. I thought he played great up through their bye week. He's very accurate. He can put up a big game. He had a pretty good bond with these receivers. Hey, everything was pretty good. And then they come out of the bye and they go to Chicago, and he doesn't look like he's comfortable. I'm trying to choose my words very cautiously here. He did not look comfortable in that game, but it's the Bears, right? So maybe you give him a pass. And then the last two games, at New England in the afternoon, and then at Seattle on a Monday night. Two defenses that are pretty good at preventing points, but tend to give up a lot of yards. They're not the hardest defenses to operate against. And the alarm bells started going off. Cousins again, to choose my words carefully, he did not look comfortable in these situations. He did not look, first glance, you'll watch it and say, okay, maybe nobody's open. Maybe the offensive line isn't giving him a chance. Then you look back and there are receivers open. He's not seeing them, or he's reacting to not only real pressure, but phantom pressure. You just can't have that. That's not going to work.
It feels like they don't know what their identity is on offense.
Well, and I think that's part of the DiFilippo-Zimmer dynamic. Zimmer's an old-school Parcells-type guy. He wants them to run the ball. And let's face it, in the modern NFL, teams really don't run the ball that much. You try to run it effectively, but you don't just stand there and hand it off first and second down and face third and six. Nobody does that. So Zimmer wants that old-school mentality, and he wants Dalvin Cook to be more involved. Yeah. And DiFilippo is like, that's just not what we're doing here. We have two great receivers. We have just signed this, very expensive quarterback. You got to throw it around, and that wasn't going to be resolved between those two.
We were just talking about this prior to you coming on. Did you have an offensive coordinator in John DiFilippo who wants to be the next Sean McVay, and he's going to be the next head coach in waiting here, and this is how I showcase my talents by having this wide-open offense here and throwing the ball 40 times a game?
That is exactly right. John's a very smart guy. He's a very ambitious guy. I think he thought, hey, I have one good season with the Vikings. I'm the next, as you said, the next Sean McVay. And Zimmer's like, I don't care about your resume. I want to see Dalvin Cook running between the tackles. Listen, as we know, those dynamics can work when the team's winning. As soon as they started losing, as soon as Cousins started looking uncomfortable, it was very obvious to everyone around the team that those two were not getting along.
If the Vikings don't make the playoffs, ...
The Wilfs have been very stable owners. They were very kind of impetuous when they first took over the team. The first couple of years were a little wild. They've really been stable and patient. I can't tell you that they're going to fire people if they don't make the playoffs, but if this is Zimmer's 6 years. Playoff record is 1-2. They've won 2 playoff games, this franchise has, since 2004. One of them was with Brett Favre, and the other one was on a play that we call a miracle. So if the Wilfs are really thinking it's time to win a Super Bowl with this group of players, and you get to that point and that's your coach's record, and that's your general manager's record, I think they'd at least have to consider making a move.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.